Major, first of all, good afternoon.
Thank you.
First question, I guess, would be quarterback situation, the competition at quarterback, how that's developing, and what you hope to see from the person who ultimately wins the position.
I think you see two great competitors. A guy who wanted an opportunity to play, had an opportunity to play there at Utah. For whatever reasons, went out and performed, but still was not given an opportunity. So he was willing to move across the country for an opportunity to play. A guy who was highly competitive in his last game last year, and Greg Ward. I think it's going to be great competition, and it's going to be great competition across the board. Having played that spot and coached that spot, a lot is talked about that position, but we're going to have great competition at right guard. We're going to have great competition at wide receiver in the slot. We're going to have great competition on the defensive side of the ball as well. So I know that the quarterback position gets a lot of attention, but we're going to have great competition at all spots in the fall. And both those guys have had a tremendous summer in the weight room and studying what time we are able to spend with them legally. They've done a great job of learning the new offense and diving in.
Major, this offense, when you look at like a guy like Kenneth Farrell that you have in the backfield, how much is it obviously designed to take advantage of someone with his skill, and then also like a Ryan Jackson?
Absolutely. One thing that Kenneth gives you as a big back is the ability to move piles. And that's one thing that you always look for as a coach in your run game is those guys that can turn 2-yard gains into 4-yard gains and 4-yard gains into 6-yard gains because of their power or elusiveness. And he's that guy that gives you the ability to get those consistent 4-yard runs, and he has more of that in him beyond 4 yards. I'm not just limiting him to that. Ryan Jackson, a lot of experience both of those guys have carrying the football, protecting on third down, just a lot of college football experience already. So both those guys will be tremendous assets to us in the run game, and that's ultimately what you want to do as an offense, to stay ahead of the chains, and those guys are pretty smart in terms of being north-south runners and not giving us a lot of negative yardage plays.
Your time in Austin, what you learned from there that you're going to bring to your time here?
Yeah, there's, when you've coached at several spots, there's just tremendous experiences that you take from not only the head coach, but from the coaches that you work with on that side of the ball to the other side of the ball. You bring everything from every place you've ever been. So there was a lot of learning experiences in Austin as there were in Syracuse and Tuscaloosa and at Rice. So everybody on the staff, and that's what makes the staff so great, is there's a lot of different experiences from a lot of different places that we all come in and bring our ideas and share, and we go with the best one.
Coach, can you talk about the receiver position, given that 3 of the top receivers have already left, and talk about how the competition has been since they have left? Is the competition wide open, or?
Yeah, it's been wide open. And the guys like DeMarcus Ayers, Stephen Dunbar, who saw some time last year, obviously are a little bit ahead of the curve from the standpoint of the shine is off. Getting out there and being called upon and having to make plays with the first team. They're a little bit more comfortable in their skin in the spring. What you were seeing by the end of the spring is guys like Isaiah Johnson, others, and Chance Allen. I don't want to get into names, but you saw others start to come along, and then spring ball ended, and you wondered what would happen if we had 3 or 4 more days with that guy have come on. So then you get to June and July, and you visit with these guys. You're given a certain amount of time a week by the NCAA, but what they relay to you, the information on the plays, the details of the plays, you can tell that they're progressing. And obviously I talk to the quarterbacks and they tell me, hey, this guy's having a great summer, coach. So the competition level is extremely high. And we've got to find 6 or 7 guys at wide receiver. We feel good about a certain number of those, but we've got to have 6 or 7 guys that we can put on that plane and feel really good about the wide receiver corps. So Coach Merringer's got a great competition going on in that room right now.
Major, Tom has mentioned the offensive line and how, right now it's, I think he said de-gooifying it. You mentioned right guard. I guess let's start left guard. Is that right now, among the guys, Ben Dew?
Correct.
And then I guess center, Colton Freeman, and you mentioned right guard. Who are some candidates there?
I was just mentioning in general. I mean, I'm saying there's going to be competition across the board.
Right.
And the only thing that we'll talk about is the quarterback competition, because that's what sells newspapers and gets everybody excited. But we will compete at the 4-eye technique, the defensive end, who plays the B gap. It's not very interesting. People really don't care. We'll compete there. We'll compete at inside linebacker. We'll compete at corner. And we'll compete everywhere. Just as a former quarterback and a guy who coaches quarterback, a hell of a lot's made out of that position. It's about our team. And so we just don't get into that kind of stuff.
Coach. Some of the players are referred to you as a football genius. What would you say to that?
Oh, the guru bird does not nest very long in this business. You can be a guru one day, and then the next day you're blanked. So I don't pay attention to that. This sport's very humbling. That's one of the exciting things about what we do is every day you got to go prove yourself. So I don't pay attention to that. I don't know what frame of mind they were in either when they told you that. Y'all have a good one. Appreciate it.